December 4th, 2025, Washington, D.C., two men who have spent 3 decades as enemies just signed their names to the same document. Paul Kagame, Felix Tshisekedi, Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, they are calling it historic, and Trump's calling it a miracle. But here is what they're not telling you upfront. This isn't about ending a war. There is something buried in this agreement, literally, that connects a displaced family in Goma to your smartphone, to factory floors in Ohio, to a quiet power struggle between Washington and Beijing. Now, by the end of this video, you are going to see why this handshake might change more than just one border. Now, let me take you back for a second. Eastern Congo. For context, we are talking about a region roughly the size of France. It's been a war zone since the 1990s. The roots go deep. 1994, Rwanda and Genu. Rebels who caused this Genu flee into what was then Zaire. Rwanda follows them in, and what starts as a security operation morphs into something else entirely. Now, ask yourself this: if you are a country with almost no natural resources of your own, but your neighbor has some of the richest mineral deposits on earth, and the border is basically unguarded, what happens? Yeah, exactly that. By 2021, a rebel group called M23, backed, according to the UN, backed by Rwanda, resurges. By March 2025, they have captured Goma and Bukavu, 2 major cities in Eastern Congo. 7 million people were displaced. Now that's more than the entire population of Denmark forced from their homes. And the thing that makes this even more complex, this isn't just about land. It's not even just about security. Now, there is a word that keeps coming up in every analysis, every think tank report, every UN briefing: minerals. So let's talk about what each side actually wants, because this is where it gets interesting. Kinshasa, that's Tshisekedi and the DRC government, they want their territory back. They want the billions in mineral revenues that are currently being smuggled across the border. And politically, Tshisekedi needs a win. Kigali, Kagame and Rwanda, they need the FDLR. Those Geno perpetrators who have been hiding in Congo for 30 years dealt with. They want economic access to Congolese minerals, and Rwanda wants diplomatic rehabilitation after years of UN accusations. Now, here is where your phone comes in. The battery in this probably has cobalt from Congo. The circuits, likely coltan, also from Congo. Congo has about 70% of the world's cobalt reserves. It's sitting on massive deposits of tantalum, tin, tungsten. And here is the strategic piece. China currently dominates the processing and refining of these minerals, not the mining. The middle stage that turns ore into usable material. Now, Washington sees this peace deal as a chance to build alternative supply chains, clean, certified US-aligned minerals. So when Trump says this is great for America, he's not wrong. The question is, great for whom in America? And what about the people living in these regions? Now, hold that thought. We'll come back to it in a moment. Now, you might be thinking, if everyone wants peace, why did it take 30 years? Good question, because this isn't the first peace deal. Lusaka, Sun City, Nairobi, Rwanda, multiple tries, same results. Why? 3 reasons, and they are all connected. 1. Armed groups as proxies. M23 wasn't just a rebel movement. It was leverage. FDLR wasn't just refugees. They were Rwanda's reason to intervene. Take away the proxies and you lose your negotiating chips. As long as informal mining and smuggling networks generated more money than formal channels, there was zero incentive to stabilize. And here is the part that doesn't get talked enough. 3. The international community has been, let's call it, inconsistent. MONUSCO, the UN mission, has been in Congo since 1999. Billions have been spent, but yet in March 2025, M23 walked into Goma while peacekeepers watched. So that's the situation that brought everyone to Washington in December 2025. Something had to change. Now, let me walk you through what was actually signed, because this is 3 deals in one. Part 1. Security Framework. Rwanda withdraws all troops from Eastern DRC within 90 days. Full stop. No more technical advisors. No more deniable presence. Both sides cut support to armed groups. M23 loses Rwandan backing. FDLR gets targeted jointly by Kinshasa and Kigali. Now, here is the verification part. Joint security coordination mechanisms. Both militaries, that is Rwandan military and the DRC military, gets monitored by, guess who? Washington. Part 2. Economic integration. And this is where it gets really interesting. Within 3 months, both countries launch a regional economic integration framework, joint management of mineral and value chains, transparent certification, infrastructure projects linking Rwanda and Eastern Congo. And here is the kicker: the US signed separate bilateral deals with both countries. Translation: American companies get priority access to these minerals under conditions that meet compliance standards. Now, depending on who you ask, this is either brilliant or deeply problematic. One view says, finally, there is economic incentive for peace. Legal mining is more profitable than smuggling if everyone cooperates. Congo gets tax revenue. Rwanda gets legitimate market access. American supply chains bypass China. The other view: this is peace for minerals. A stabilized extraction zone where global powers and local elites profit while communities see marginal benefits. We'll get there. But first, Part 3. Humanitarian commitments. Return of refugees and internally displaced people. Now, 7 million people who have been waiting, some for decades, to go home. Now, if this works, and that's a massive if, this could be the most significant movement of returning populations Africa has ever seen in a generation. So the document is signed, photos are taken. Kagame calls it the clearest roadmap we've ever had.
If this agreement falters and things do not work out as they are supposed to, the responsibility will not lie with President Trump, but with ourselves.
Tshisekedi talks about deep hope and a new path. Birds. What happens on the ground? Let's be clear about three scenarios. Scenario 1, full implementation. Troops withdraw, armed groups disarm, minerals get certified, infrastructure gets built, Congo's GDP grows, refugees return, Trump tweets victory. Scenario 2, partial compliance. And this is the most likely, by the way. Some troops withdraw, others redeploy under different flags. M23 officially disbands, but elements regroup as former M23. Mineral certification covers maybe 40 to 50% of extraction. Some refugees return, others wait to see if it's safe. Scenario 3, failed agreement. Violations within months. Blame game starts. Back to square one, and possibly worse, because failed peace processes breed cynicism. So, which one happens? That depends on answering one question that isn't in the agreement. Now, let me show you something. Same day, same moment, two different experiences of peace. Now, I want to read something a leader from Bukavu said, paraphrasing from DW's coverage. We have seen many agreements. What we haven't seen is justice, security, or the right to live on our own land without fear. And that's the tension at the heart of this whole story. On paper, everyone wins. DRC gets sovereignty and revenue. Rwanda gets security and market access. America gets supply chain diversification. But there is a concept in conflict economics called elite bargains. When warring parties stop fighting not because the grievances are resolved, but because they have found a way to share the spoils. The risk is that Washington, Kinshasa and Kigali stabilize the region, just enough to make extraction predictable, but not enough to address land rights, justice for atrocities or local governance. Now, to be fair, and we should be fair, some stability is better than open war. If even 50% implementation means fewer people are unalived, fewer women and girls face sexual violence, fewer kids grow up in camps instead of schools, that matters. But better than nothing shouldn't be the ceiling, it should be the floor. And here is what I'm watching over the next 90 days. You should too. 1. Do Rwandan troops actually leave? Not reposition. Leave. 2. Does the joint security coordination mechanism get real verification powers? Or is it just a fake leave? 3. Do mineral certification schemes include independent monitoring and community benefit sharing? Or is it just paperwork for corporate compliance? 4. Do local civil society groups get a seat at the table in implementation? Or is this decided entirely in Kinshasa, Kigali, and Washington? Now, let's zoom out because this isn't just about Congo and Rwanda. This Washington Accord is part of a broader pattern. The US is actively trying to build parallel supply chains for critical minerals that don't run through China. China currently processes 70% of global cobalt, 90% of rare earths. Even if minerals come from Africa, they often get refined in China. Washington's strategy? Lock in direct partnerships with African producers, which means this peace is simultaneously a humanitarian intervention, that is, end the war, help refugees. It is also a resource security play. to lock in mineral access. It is also a geopolitical chess move. That is, it counters China's influence. And here is the fascinating part. Can those three goals actually align? Now, one thing I want to push back is the narrative that this is all just external powers playing games with African resources. Kagame and Tshisekedi are not passive pieces on someone else's chessboard. These are sophisticated political operators who are using Washington's interests to reset their own relationship. Kagame gets to position Rwanda as a stability provider and economic hub. Tshisekedi gets to show strength, reclaim territory, and potentially secure his political future. The US has leverage, yes, but so do they. The question isn't whether external powers are involved. They always have been. The question is whether African leaders can use that involvement to actually deliver for their people or just for themselves. So, let me bring this home. December 4th, 2025. Trump, Kagame, Tshisekedi, the Washington Accords. What we are watching is an experiment. Can you end a 30-year war by aligning economic incentives? Can mineral worth become a foundation for prosperity instead of conflict? Can peace be brokered by an outside power without becoming a new form of dependence? I don't have the answers to those yet. Nobody does. What we can do: watch, track, hold accountable. By March 2026, we will know if Rwandan troops actually left. We will see if fighting continues or decreases. We will have early data on whether mineral governance is changing. And here is where you come in. I need you to do 3 things. 1. Stay informed. Outlets like Al Jazeera, BBC Africa, and the Africa Report will be tracking this. So will I. 2. Ask hard questions. When you see headlines saying peace achieved or deal fails, ask for whom, according to what measures, based on whose testimony. 3. Connect the dots between your consumption and these realities. The device you're watching this from, it's connected to Eastern Congo, the EV revolution everyone's excited about, powered by Congolese cobalt, climate solutions built on African minerals. That's not guilt, that's reality, and reality means responsibility. I want this deal to work. I want those 7 million people to go home. I want Eastern Congo to become a place where kids grow up with schools and hospitals instead of guns and camps. But one thing doesn't make it happen. Leverage makes it happen. Verification makes it happen. Local participation makes it happen. There is an African proverb: however long the night, dawn will break. Eastern Congo has been in a very long night. Whether this Washington Accord is the dawn or just another false sunrise, that depends on what happens in the next 90 days and the 90 after that, and every 90 days for years to come. I'll be watching and hope you will too. If you are in our membership and you want a deeper dive, I'm going to put links for you to follow up the full agreement. UN statements, civil society responses, mineral supply chain analysis, all of it. So drop a comment and tell me, do you think this deal has a real chance, or is it bound to follow the pattern of previous agreements? I'm genuinely curious what you think. And if this kind of analysis is your thing, where we don't just cover the headlines but unpack what's actually happening beneath them, welcome to the Strategic Lens. This is what we do. I'm Luis. See you in my next investigation. Bye.